Hi guys, welcome back to Tierra Gitana. My name is Abby, and today I am going to start a series specifically focusing on sexual healing. And I wanted to pull some cards for the week. I'm going to start doing these on Monday, but I'm starting a day late. Should have did it yesterday. I know. But it's okay. I'm going to start it today, and every week I'm going to pull a couple of cards as far as what we should be focusing on for our sacral healing space, because a lot of the trauma we hold and a lot of the reason why a lot of people have trouble healing and frustrations healing is because they, like, especially women, we carry all of our pain, our trauma, and our everything in our sacral space, which is a place that we can use to create and develop instead of holding negativity and things that are just not working. So I'm gonna pull a card, a few cards for from the Manara deck. I'm also gonna pull a few cards from the Tarot of Sexual Healing deck, and a few cards also from the Oracle, the Zodiacal Oracle deck, just to know what planetary energies we should be working with or focusing on or channeling for the week. So I'm gonna pull a couple cards for the week. This is a general reading, and this is for if you want to work with your sacral space more and heal that and work with it and not be afraid to clear it up. Sage your sacral space. Okay, so this is general energy from May 22nd to 28th. Working with. Oh, interesting. So we have the King of Cups on this. This is interesting because in this deck this represents Scorpio, which I always thought was interesting because in this deck, if you see that the guy is the only kind of light, he's like half bright, half dark thing. Such a Scorpio thing to do. Any messages from the 22nd to 28th? Anything we should be focusing on? The collective. Oh, good. Then we have the 10 of Wands in reverse. I'm going to pull all of them out first, and then we're going to talk about it. Messages from the 22nd to the 28th. Messages. Okay. So, interesting. Bottom of the deck's the Three of Swords. So I'm going to pull 4 cards for each. So what the whole entire spread for this is the King of Cups, the 10 of Wands in reverse. And then you have the 5 of Wands in reverse, and then the Emperor in reverse. And what this is really telling me, because it's there's water in here, but there's a lot of wands, especially because the Emperor is the card of Aries. We will be talking about tarot and astrology in a future upcoming video, but Aries in reverse, this tells me that there is a lot that you can heal by using your water elements, and specifically in astrology. If you have a lot of water placements, if you are a water sign, if you are a Cancer, if you are a Scorpio, even if you're a Pisces, which might be a little bit harder to do if you're a Pisces, but it's okay. You can still do it. You can still work with it. There is kind of a this is almost like an egotistical battle that's going on in our sacral space for some reason, where we're holding on and we're like struggling to let go of some things that maybe were not really good, because we have like the 10 of Wands and then we have the 5 of Wands, so like drama and the struggle. So there's some things that we really need to focus on letting go of, and with the Emperor in reverse, it just goes back to our ego and how we're making sure that our ego is balanced and is not like you're checking on yourself. So when I'm looking at this in this way, this is the person that's really the King of Cups is a person that's really focused on emotion. Like he pretty much mastered this emotional shit. That's pretty much what he is. I mean, he's a Scorpio in this card, so yes, they do kind of tend to master that ability. So they pretty much got their bearings, but Scorpio can also be very egotistical in many ways, and can kind of start this process very easily as far as being dramatic and using that stinger to sting very harshly. So what this tells me is that on an emotional level, you can look or appear to be like there's nothing going on, but internally there is some drama or some past trauma that's happened with you in a relationship, or you with other people, or even from childhood, that kind of has stuck with you in a way that it dictates the way you operate emotionally and through your ego. And it's made it so your ego is not necessarily in the place that it should be, but it's still in that space. So for the next week, this really is, it's a really good idea to just focus a lot on sexual healing, releasing, and with this much fire on the table and then water, I know the moon is going to be in Scorpio. It should be in Scorpio. It should be in Scorpio towards the weekend, because the moon will switch into Libra soon, and they'll be in Scorpio towards the weekend. So this is kind of like, this weekend might be a really good time to do some releasing work, and focus on connecting with your sacral space, your ego, your drive, your passion, why you're moving in a certain way towards certain things, why you feel like you're emotionally stable, and what lessons did you learn from being in those spaces. Did you actually achieve emotional satisfaction, or are you still moving from some trauma, moving with some trauma? Like, did you learn the lesson and also keep the pain of the lesson, or did you learn the lesson and just progress? So these are just thoughts to take from for the next week, considering that there's like a lot of stuff going on. So then I'm gonna pull 4 cards from the Tarot Sexual Magic deck. Okay. And this deck tends to be a little bit more fluffy, which is why I kind of picked both. I'm like, one is darker, one is lighter. It's like yin and yang of like sexual healing tarot. Just being extra. Anyway. Any general messages that we should know from the 22nd to the 28th as far as sexual healing, sacral work? Okay, so we have the 9 of Pentacles. That is very interesting. So this really goes back to worth and ego. Okay. Just messages. Okay. 9 of Cups. My God, we have a lot of work to do. Oh my goodness, Lord. Okay, well, I mean, this is a general reading. 2nd to 28th. All I need is for the Emperor card to come out in this deck, not in reverse. Then we have the World in reverse. Hello, Saturn. Yes, Saturn. The World card is Saturn in tarot. We, again, will be making a video about tarot and astrology very soon. Okay, one more card. Whoa, whoa. Okay, the Empress. I'll take that. I'll take that. I mean, bottom of the deck on this one is the 10 of Cups. So, I mean, I think we'll take it. I think we'll take it. So, this really has to do a lot with ego work. A lot, because this part of the reading is very much focused on the self. So we have the 9 of Pentacles and then the 9 of Cups. 2 people who are very much happy of where they are. In this deck, they're represented a little bit different, just because it's a tarot sexual magic. So it's more this guy really wanting a piece of that, to the point that he'll sneak into her room while she's sleeping to cut her hair. And then in the other one, we have just like a really big kind of, I want to say like a yearning. That's what I get from this card. That's always what I get from this card, because he just wants her and she's just like kind of, I'm just playing. But what this tells me is there's two people, well, not two people, but the ego, especially with this Aries card, the Emperor card in reverse. There's like a lot of ego work going on in here. And trust that this card, the King of Cups, has a big ego, because he's built his emotions so high, so that because he just knows too much about himself at this point, and he's very much on this throne of his own emotional waters. Not that it's a bad thing, but there is a shadow and a light side to every card as well. And we will be doing shadow tarot as well throughout this. I have like so many videos to do. I know you guys are like but what this tells me is that there's a lot of past work that needs to be done, especially because the only card in reverse that came out from this deck was the World, which is, again, I go back to Saturn, because Saturn is the planet of lessons, karma, time. And if it's in reverse and in tarot, that just means that there's not a completion, did not take place in here. There's something that needs to be released because it's still there, and it might have something to do with moments that maybe made you feel good before. Maybe you thought you were in a good place before, but now you're not, and so you're holding on to the times where you were at a higher place, and you're struggling to get back into like this Empress type of feel, because the Empress is very much, she like kind of is in her throne. She's like the Emperor, but in female form, divine in all ways. And so when the World card comes out with this kind of placement, there is something that's preventing you to getting into the Empress state of mind, state of being, that has to do with releasing any past trauma and past situations that happen that don't really serve you right now. And again, those might be lessons that were meant to be lessons that maybe you didn't learn the lesson properly, and maybe that's why this is coming up in reverse. Maybe you need to let go of the emotional part of the lesson and just take the lesson for what it is. That could be why this is coming up this way, because this combination, the World in reverse and the Empress, is like you're stopping yourself from being up in this throne. And that's kind of really important, because that's not a really good energy to have, especially during Gemini season, because that's very much about the mind. So this is all internal mind, going all the way down to your sacral space, affecting your passion, your behavior, and then that just builds up to the rest of your chakras. So eventually you'll keep blocking yourself in the process. So I'm gonna pull out some oracle cards from the Zodiac Oracle. I really like this deck, so it's just like the artwork for it is just really, really beautiful. I don't know, that's just me. So messages from, or what energy should you be focusing on the 22nd to the 28th? Ooh. Oh, okay. Did we not talk about Uranus enough? Did we not talk about Uranus enough? Okay, so with this, Uranus is, first of all, it's been kind of making moves this whole past last week. It just moved into Taurus. I did make a video about that. It's in like my library, so you guys can look for it if you guys want to. But Uranus is very much futuristic. He is about fast change. He is about innovation. He is about upgrades. He's about downloads. He's about higher understanding. He is very much about the mind, just as much as Mercury is about the mind. Uranus is about higher state, higher social state, how this affects collectively, technology, like all these things is Uranus. Uranus is very unexpected. He doesn't care if you want to wait or if you're trying to plan it out. He is not Saturn. He is not trying for you to wait. He wants it to happen now. So this tells me, like, the energy of this tells me that there could be some changes that come up, or the way that this reading and these cards and this energy comes up and develops throughout the week might just happen in a very unexpected way. I would suggest looking at where your Taurus placement is in your chart, so you can see how to work better with energy, especially because we did have an earth sign, an earth card come out, which is the Nine of Pentacles, which does have to do with root material, earth, grounding. Then with the Nine of Cups as well, that has to do with emotional state. So that there's kind of shakeups that could happen anywhere, and the best way to see where it can come from is by looking at your chart and looking at where the Uranus transit is. That way you can at least try to work with the energy and release and do what you need to do. But there definitely needs to be a lot of ego healing going on, especially with this King of Cups, who thinks he's in this throne very early, is very egotistical, but then he might just get thrown that monkey wrench right from Uranus. So I would definitely suggest working with that energy. It might not be the funnest energy to work with, but Uranus energy is very quick, and if you try to heal the space, then you can get to this point, because that's the point. Sacral energy should feel like the Empress at all times. If we're not feeling like that, then we are not in a good place mentally, spiritually, physically. We're just not in a good place. When you don't heal your like chakras and your sacral spaces, you end up manifesting physical illnesses, which is like the problem. So taking time to work with this energy and really do some releasing work. If you are a bruja and you do some, spell work, I would definitely suggest you doing some spell work, especially during the Scorpio moon that's coming up. Do a lot of transformative work. Scorpio moons are really good for doing a lot of self-work, release, and going through that metamorphosis. Like Scorpio moons like kind of push you to do it anyway, so I would suggest working with the energy. Don't block yourself. Don't block yourself from being exactly who you are, because there's stuff that could have happened like years ago, months ago, that were meant to push you in a certain direction that you are now, and you're not there anymore. But that lesson was there for a reason. Take it as growth, grow from it, and heal your sacred space, because that's very important. That's a huge place to manifest from. So if that space is blocked, you're going to be blocking your own blessings, which is exactly what this is. I can't talk. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. There'll be another one up next Monday. Yeah, all my links will be down in the like comment thingy. I can't talk. Gemini and Moon, and I can't talk. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can email me or follow me on Instagram. And yeah, it was nice talking to you guys, and yeah, stay blessed.